don't have music?
You don't hear it?
No.
It's playing.
Oh. It's fine. I don't hear it. All right. I'll be coming on the big screen soon. All right. Well, hello, welcome everyone. I wanted to give you a little flavor of what learning at sea feels like. Welcome. Come on in, everyone. Say hello in the chat. I really appreciate your time. So the pictures that you were seeing, those were taken at our inaugural Learning at Sea event, which we held this March. And I have to tell you, it was just an incredible experience. You know, it's interesting when I have a vision for a program or an event for assistance. I, of course, create it and I see it in my mind, but I don't really know how it's going to play out until I actually hold that event or that training program. And I have to tell you, I was just elated to see that Learning at Sea was everything I was hoping it would be for the attendees, and even more than that. So today's webinar is a Q&A. We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, and I thought it would really be helpful to tell you what the experience is really like, why you should want to attend, who this is for, what is it like on the ship during the day, what do we do? Do we have free time? Are we always working? And I want to also talk about the course and all those various things. So today, what we're going to do in this webinar, just to let you all know where we're heading, is I'm going to cover all the items I just shared with you. And then I definitely want to have time for your questions. I want to make sure I answer all your questions. So stay on. I'll stay on as long as I need to get your questions answered today. And we already have some questions. I have about 8 questions that were submitted today. So I'm going to address those, and then we'll be sure to take your questions that are in the box. So are you ready? There's not a handout for you. I'm just going to walk you through this. So just put on your good listening skills, and try to just be solely focused on this right now. Immerse yourself in what I'm going to tell you, and try to ignore any distractions around you so you get the real feel. So why did I create Learning at Sea? Several reasons. I wanted to shake things up in the training industry. I have been in the training industry for 27 years. And 85%, 90% of the work that I do is on-site training, where I go into an organization or a corporation. I'm in a training room or in a conference room. I'm providing that full-day workshop for assistants. As many of you know, we also host an annual conference. So it's a great event. I love our conference. We've made it better every single year for 24 years now. But I was still looking for something different. And being the leader and the visionary in the administrative training industry, I wanted to make sure that we were bringing you into the forefront. So the reasons why, again, I wanted to shake things up, not only in the industry, but shake up the experience for you. It does get boring being the same old training room. And even when you go to conferences, they're wonderful and they're fun, but there's also a great benefit to getting away from all the distractions. So that was the other part. I wanted to create a truly immersive learning experience for assistants like no other in this world. There is no other like this. Although there are seminar cruises for leaders, nursing industry, different careers like that. And I wanted to really be able to get you away from the distractions of life. Many of you are very busy supporting multiple managers. Many of you are married or have significant others or partners. You have children. You're just really caught up in life. And I wanted to take you away from all of that, put you out on the ocean where people can't get to you so easily. So those are some of the reasons why I created the Learning at Sea. So what about the experience? This is the most important, the most distinct part. That's why I want to talk about it first. And I'm going to use the words that our attendees describe. So first of all, let me backtrack a minute. We had 13 assistants attend our inaugural event. That was wonderful. It was a great size. I don't want to go over 20 because it's a very intimate experience, and I want to give our attendees a lot of one-on-one time and individual attention. So we have 13 assistants from different countries, from all different kinds of experiences and backgrounds. So here are the words they use to describe the experience. And I also felt this: exhilarating, absolutely exhilarating. I know for myself, when I came back from that cruise, I was on fire. I was so excited about life and work and, just everything, because I was taken away from a lot of the day-to-day distractions. They also said it was life-changing. For many of the assistants who attended that event, they have never experienced anything like that in their life, and they will probably never experience something like that. So it was changing their lives, and it really did change their lives for many of them. Once they got back to work and got back to home, I've kept up with those attendees. I've asked them how it impacted their lives going on that event. Another word used to describe it: immersive. It's definitely immersive. What do I mean by immersive? I mean you are deep diving fully immersing yourself in what we're discussing. If you saw some of the pictures, many times we were in a very intimate little area, all to ourselves. No distractions around us, just looking out at the beautiful blue ocean. And we were able to be fully focused on our discussions, to talk about the assistants' challenges, the opportunities to share best practices. So you're fully immersed. Another description is the experience. It was profound. It was robust. A relaxed environment. So while I'm using a lot of those words of, oh my gosh, profound and robust, but it was also very relaxing. As you saw also in the pictures, we were casually dressed. Many times we were just kind of hanging out in our private area. Very, very intimate experience. Wonderful. Transformative. So what does transformative really mean? Because you know what? That word can scare people. In other words, your thinking might be, well, I like who I am. Why do I want to be transformed? Because you know what? There is a better version of you. Just like software companies are always, and technology companies are always updating, right? There's always a better version, always a better version. And it's hard to keep up with it. But when you come to Learning at Sea, I guarantee you will be transformed. You will be smarter. You will be sharper, more efficient, more productive, more confident. You are going to go back and you're going to be on fire. And so, as if you are a true career assistant, you should want to be transformed. You should not want to maintain your status quo. And the other part is, in today's world, we can't afford to stay stagnant. It's not healthy. It does not give us security. So that's another reason. And another word, of course, to describe it is experiential. So you probably have not heard of experiential learning, but it's been around for a long time. Many executives have known the secret of experiential learning for years. They'll go off on these crazy go into nature and all this competitive stuff that they do. So they know the benefit, and I wanted to bring what executives do to the administrative arena. It's the experiential learning that gives executives the edge. So one way, if you think about it, for us to really learn, and I know this is true for me, is to experience something. And so one of the ways you get to really be experiential is a portion of our program. There's one segment where the ship, we get to go tender over to a private island. It's Coco Cay. And that island is private only to the people who are on the ship. No one else is on this island. It's beautiful, just beautiful. It's all sand, and you've got the Caribbean, and there's lounges set up everywhere. There's places for food, so you could go eat. There's covered areas. They have all types of excursions. There's kayaking, there's parasailing. There was, what was the one that everyone loved? I'm sorry, I can't think of it right now. But what we do with Coco Cay is one of the topics I cover in the curriculum is change and how to navigate change, which we all need to do today, personally and professionally. So what better way to experience change? When you think about change, it's the unknown. We're going into the unknown. We're not sure what's going to happen. As we move into change, we have to have good communication skills. We need a support network. So what happens on Learning at Sea, the day that we go to Coco Cay, the attendees are already preset into different groups based on which activity they would like to do based on their level of how adventurous they are, you might say. So some low adventure people wanted to do the hike. Our high adventure people were going to do the parasailing. Basically, I drop you off onto the island which is unknown. You get in your groups, you go do your excursion, your event, and I just let you experience what it's like to be doing something different, unique, not knowing where you are. And then what we do after that is we all reconvene and we talk about the experience. What was it like to be placed on an island that you didn't know? What was it like to have to work with others? What was the importance of communication when you were going through this change? What were the lessons you learned about change for this? What did you learn about having a support group around you when you're going through change? So that's what I mean by experiential. I'm not just talking to you about change. I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face, but let me put you in a situation where you're dealing with change and you're going to learn really quick. And also, I'm going to share with you after that, what are some of the best strategies when you're dealing with change? So what else about the experience? I have one more item to share with you, and it's an important item. It's exclusivity. You have exclusive time with me. Yes, I'm bragging a bit, okay? I think I've earned the right after 27 years in this industry, in the training industry, and 47 years in the administrative profession. I have a wealth of knowledge to share with you. 47 years. 20 years in the administrative profession and 27 years on the other side of the desk. No one else has that kind of knowledge or experience. So if you picture being able to sit with me, if that means anything to you, and that would excite you, that would be me being able to sit with Tony Robbins privately with just, one-on-one or with 12 people. Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Tony Robbins is usually in front of 5,000 to 10,000 people. So the one thing I really wanted to do on the Learning at Sea is give special attention to each person who is there and really be able to talk with them about their challenges and their concerns. So we do have structured class time. And even within that, you're going to get time with me. But, there was one afternoon where people were off on the island that we were docked at, and I was sitting on the ship. I just wanted to chill out on the lounge chair and relax. And one of the attendees came and sat with me, and we just sat there for about an hour. We hung out, we talked about all kinds of things. So, and even when we went off on the island, sometimes I would go join 2 other of the attendees and we would have lunch together. So I just want you to know that there is great value in doing that. And you're getting that, like I said, the special attention. So let's get into some of the other pieces that you're probably really wondering about. The curriculum. It's a very robust curriculum. So I have designed over 40 customized workshops. I've written extensive training programs and all of that. And so when I was approaching this curriculum, I really pushed myself. I thought, what can I do better? What can I really give assistance? What do they really need? How am I going to challenge their thinking? How am I going to really hit their core and get really into what is going to help them change and be even better? And so the curriculum I came up with, I'm just going to go through some of the topics with you. You could view these in great detail on the Office Dynamics website, Learning at Sea section. One of the topics, so for the first topic we have is don't let fear sink your career. Fear is huge for assistants. And really for all of us, we all deal with fear. So some of the main things, 2 main things we talked about, I won't go through the whole list, is the 7 fears that are holding you back from achieving your full potential. We all have fears. Even me, after all these years, because as we push ourselves to a new level, we get that little fear. The other piece we cover with that is how to approach uncertain, fear-inducing situations with poise and grace. I mean, you're put into all types of situations in your jobs and in your roles. So how do you really, deal with that? And how do you still be polished and poised and professional when inside maybe you're shaking about a situation or getting up in front of a group? Another segment we cover, it's called Swimming to Success as a Career Assistant. So one other note I want to make is I have tied everything together in this program around the sea and the ocean and learning and all of that. So with the Career Assistant, we cover strategies for remaining challenged in your day-to-day work. I know when you've been in this profession for a long time, it's easy to get bored, to not feel stimulated, right? And yet it's really important, because if we don't feel challenged and we don't feel excited about the work we're doing, we're not going to put in the effort we need to put in. We're not, going to care to the depth that we need to care. Also within that section, how to identify and honor your career values long term. I bet you never thought about this. What are your core values? How do those tie in with the work you're doing? How do they tie in with your long-term goals for your career? Because if you're in conflict, if the work you do and where you want to head is in conflict with your values, that's going to cause a lot of stress and disruption in your life. I love the next topic, and in fact, we just did a webinar on this, I think a week ago. Anchoring a reputation of excellence. Your reputation is your most important treasure. And your reputation, it's on stage every single day, and you are being judged every single day, every single minute. So within that, we talk about, an ownership mentality. I dive into excellence, really. What do I mean when I'm talking about having this reputation of excellence? How do you shape and create the reputation you want to have? How do you want people to perceive you, to identify you, to brand you? You actually control that. And if you're not controlling it and you're not establishing it, then others are doing it for you. And it may not be what you want. Some of the other topics we cover, I love this one. It's called Deep Dive into Your Executive's World. So for years, of course, I've been teaching assistants, how to really get to work with your executive, how to know your executive, how to be a strategic partner. For this program, I thought, how do I get you to go deeper? How do I get you to see what it's really like to be an executive? Because if you have not been an executive for a long period of time, it's very hard to understand their world. So with this particular topic, there is a pre-assignment, and it's where the assistants have to interview their executives prior to coming on the ship. And I have specific questions that you ask of your executive, and my intent is to get you and your executive to have a really great, hearty conversation and get into the core of who they are and how they think. So, and what I loved with that is when we were doing that segment on the ship, we were all sitting around and we ran around and everybody just shared what they learned about their executive. And I mean, there were some assistants who have worked with their executive for 15 years or more, and they still learn something new about their executive. Other topics, the navigating your day in a world that never stops. This is a great piece for you, because if you think about it, you and I live in a world that never ever stops, right? Don't you feel like you're on a hamster wheel sometime, and you just can't get off, correct? So some of the key points I cover, specific actions you should take every day to keep yourself primed. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when you get up in the morning, you should be priming yourself for the day. So when you come into the office, you're hitting the ground running. All the top people like Tony Robbins, and some of these other people, they all prime themselves for the day. They don't leave it to chance. So we talk about that and how you can do that. We especially talk about how to master focus. Really important. We talk about the importance of human connections and breaking away from the technology so you can be more effective, you can be more productive, you can build better relationships. Riding the wave of change. I love this topic. I've been speaking on it for 27 years. And I bought my game with this topic, so I don't want you to think it's the same thing, even though there's strategies that never change when it comes to change. But also I've learned a lot about change over the years that I've added. So as I told you, this is the experiential, real experiential part of the learning at sea, where you are on the island of Coco Cay. You're set up in teams. It's wonderful. Great experience. The attendees just loved it, and we learned a lot. Additionally, I will be giving you strategies on how to ride the wave of change with success. And then we have our last segment with shoring up your communication skills. And for this one also, I wanted to dig deep because I've been speaking on communication for years. So what more could I tell you, right? Well, this is where we delve into the face-to-face connections being very important. We also get into communicating. How do you communicate when you're having a difficult, when it's going to be a difficult conversation or topic? So those are the core topics that we cover. As I said, we go deep with each and every one of those topics. You will earn 1.7 CEUs. So we are basically in 17 hours of training over 3 days and 4 nights. And I'll tell you what the day looks like in just a minute. But that's a lot of course time. Remember, number one intent for this is for you to learn. It's not all about vacation. So this is education with, yes, some vacation, and you will have free time. Pre-work, there is pre-work. So I want to prep you and prepare you before you even get on the ship. So about 1 month out, we send you a lovely box with goodies, some fun stuff to prepare you for the cruise, and also materials. So you will receive, it's your crew members log and course materials. So you'll actually keep a log, just like on a cruise or on a ship. There's always the captain's log, right? And they have to log everything that's happened that day. And so really at the end of each day or throughout the program, I'm going to ask you to document and create your own log of your journey on the 3-day, 4-night event. This is about a 50-page booklet that you will get. So you get that ahead of time. There are some pre-reads you have to do. Also, there are some great videos I have you watch prior to coming on the ship because they tie into the topics that we're going to cover. Another great resource we provide you with, it's a wonderful, well-written book by Chrissy Civic, who we adore and love. It's called The Proactive Professional. And we use a lot of the material in Chrissy's book when we talk about digging deep into your executive's world. So we send you that book ahead of time. I let you know which pages I want you to read again, so you're well prepped, so we could just drill down when we get in, to the material on the ship. What's life like on a ship? Oh my gosh, have any of you ever been on a ship? If you have, would you please let me know in the chat? So if you've been on a ship, of course, I hope you've had a good experience. I've been on 8 cruises. My husband and I used to love to cruise. And I always had wonderful memories of how I felt when I was out on the ocean. But if you've never been on a ship, if you've never been on a cruise, yes, it's a different world, isn't it? There's a way of life on the ship. You get into a certain rhythm. So it feels a little awkward when you first get on the ship and you're not, you're checking into your cabin and there's all this activity and how you don't get your luggage right away, so you've got to prepare for that because they have all these people on the ship. But by so you get on about 4 o'clock is when we sail out to sea. But by the next day, you're in the rhythm, right, of it. There's a certain rhythm, and I love it. And so, what's it like? What's our day like? To give you an idea for our schedule for next March, well, one, it's wonderful when the ship departs Miami, because we're all out there right out front watching us take off, and it's just beautiful and incredible. But on our first day, so we're in sessions. Most of the mornings we're in session from 8:30 to 12 o'clock. So you can have breakfast on your own. There's a beautiful dining room. You could have breakfast in your cabin if you wish. And then we're in session a good chunk of the time. Most of your afternoons are free time. You could do whatever you'd like. I want you to enjoy the ship. I want you to enjoy some of the excursions. And then what we do is we get together, we reconvene at night at 7 o'clock, about 6:45, for 90 minutes. And what we do when we reconvene, we talk about our day, what happened, during your afternoon, and then we actually delve into a topic. And then we have reserved seating for our group, 8:30, a sit-down dinner. And I like to have it later, because if you go to the 6 o'clock dining, you have to start getting ready at 4 o'clock, and that cuts your day really short. So I want you to enjoy that. And then after dinner, you're free to do whatever you want. And we just had a ball. I mean, one night we all went, dancing. It was a 70s theme night. We danced for about 3 or 4 hours. It was nonstop. But the good part of that is when you enjoy social with the other attendees, you create a bond like no other. And I just can't explain it to you. It's something you have to experience. But when you make social connections, you learn you learn different things about people, because you're in a relaxed environment. People can let their hair down. They could be themselves. And you create this bond because you're laughing together, you're having fun. And for assistants, who 98% are women, it is so freeing, because you're away from the kids, you're away from spouses or your partners or your bosses or the parents that you have to take care of. When have you ever been liberated like that in your life? It's probably rare. Right? So it's so liberating to just focus on you, and you're learning and immersing in yourself and bonding with these other assistants. It's just incredible. What else happens on the ship? Let me see what else. As I said, you have a lot of free time to explore. So let's go on to a couple more things, and then we're going to get to the Q&A. I want to cover with you who should attend. And then let's go back to the free time a minute, in case you haven't been on a cruise. There are a lot of offerings, on the ship. Now, some things you pay extra for if you want something special like a massage. But a lot of the other activities are included, and you're just free to go experience and have fun. And during the day, they have all kinds of activities around the pools. They have yoga and Zumba and all these other things that you could do, or you could go up to the exercise center. At night, they have a beautiful theater where they have different kinds of acts that perform. So let's go to who should attend. I'm warning you, this is a warning. Learning at Sea is not your typical training program. It is not. And you're going to feel a little awkward maybe at first, and it's going to be a different and unique experience. But this is who should attend Learning at Sea. It's for people who want to deep dive into topics pertinent to the administrative profession. If you're tired of just being on the surface of your profession and you want to dig deep, you need to come on this with me. If you long to break away from stagnancy Are you getting bored? Are you getting tired? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Is every day a repeat of another day? I mean, your days are different. Yes, I know that. Our days are always different, but a lot of things are just a repeat of the day before. The same stress, the same chaos. If you're starving to get away, this is it for you. If you value spending time with me, and I'm trying to say this to you in a very humbling way. First of all, I'm honored to be in your presence. I treasure any time I get to be with assistants. But what I want to tell you deep down is I eat, breathe, and sleep this profession, and I've been doing it for 47 years. When I was an assistant, I worked in 12 different companies in 5 states. I had every kind of situation thrown at me. On the other side of the desk now, 27 years. I've been in so many different environments. I have a wealth of knowledge that I want to give to you. And really, I don't want to leave this world and take everything with me. You know, I want to leave this world giving it all away and helping people like you. If you want to grow professionally and personally in a profound way, you will have it. If you enjoy learning in a small group, I love small groups, right? The dynamics is completely different. And the last one I'm telling you up front, if you see value in making a financial investment, if you want good quality education, there's a price that comes with it. This is our higher end course. I'm telling you right up front. But again, if you really value yourself and you value quality education and you value what you're going to take back, and also if you look at the higher end administrative conferences that are offered today, they're ranging between $1,500 and $2,200. That does not include your room and your taxes and Ubering around the city to get places. It doesn't include all your meals. So if you look at it from that perspective, the value you get are the 4 nights, 3 full days. You're getting all that training. You do get a cabin of choice. We have it broken down, and I'll go over that in more detail with you. Meals, if you've never been on a ship, you can eat as much as you want. Now, if there are a few restaurants that are there, like the fancier upscale restaurant, and you pay for that restaurant, but it's still minimal compared to what you would pay if you went to a fancy local restaurant. It includes your activities on the ship. It includes all your robust materials. So you get a great value. And we had one of our participants, 2 stories I want to share with you. One of our participants paid for it herself. She saw it as a true investment for herself and her future of her career. Michelle Pennington, who's on this with us right now. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. I see your name popping up over there. Michelle was such a go-getter. She wanted to go on the Learning at Sea more than anything in her life. And so she actually was awarded a scholarship. And she just wrote a great article at Ohio State University for the assistants there on how she was able to obtain a scholarship, which is awesome. I mean, kudos to you, Michelle, for going through that process, and congratulations that you got what you really wanted, but you put the work into it. So good for you. All right, let me get to how to register. Then we're going to go to the survey questions and go to your questions. So if you want to register, let me walk you through the process. Right now, you only have to put down a 50% deposit to hold your cabin. So I have 15 cabins booked. I have a variety of cabins, some that we call ocean view, which means you get a window in your cabin so you can see the ocean. We also have the They're the balcony room. So I love the balcony room because I love having a balcony and the glass sliding doors so I could open those at night and I hear the ocean and I could sit on the balcony in the morning and have my cup of coffee. They're a little more, but they are worth it if you want to splurge. And then also we have a junior suite, which is a little bit larger. So if maybe you're going to travel with a spouse or a partner or a friend or family member or another attendee, you might want to do that. So with the cruise line, we have to have all funds in by December 20th. So while it's next March, we only have till December 20th to get all your cabins fully paid for. So right now, you could just 50% deposit will hold your space, or you could pay in full. We only reserved 15 cabins, as I said. Keeping this an intimate experience is important. And to give you even greater value, where I'm not having to give attention to a lot of different people, it's focused on you, and also your peer networking is critical. What else can I tell you? The registration, you can go to officedynamics.com, learning at sea. So let's go to some of the survey questions and then your questions. So someone asked, will there be one-on-one time with Joan to cover specific situations? As I told you, yes, there will be one-on-one time with me. And we just hang out on the ship and, it doesn't have to be planned, but you will get it. How do I persuade my manager? Huge question. We're asked that often, even when people want to attend our conference. So we are going to provide you with a link when you get the replay link, but there's a section on our Office Dynamics Conference.com website that gives you all the steps of how to persuade your manager. But before you even do that, I'm going to tell you the most important thing. You have to believe in this. You have to want this so badly you can taste it. So I know when I was an assistant and I wanted to persuade my managers, whether it was to change a process, to send me to training, to support me in an organization, I had to believe in it 100%. I had to believe in the value I was going to get, my executive was going to get, and my organization was going to get. I had to believe I was worth investing in. So if you don't truly 100% believe in it, it's going to be much more difficult. You have to be able to say, I deserve this. I want this. I'm going to do training next year. Why not be with the best? Why not be on the ocean? Why not be in an intimate setting? Why not get the biggest bang for my investment? Okay, go for it. You've got to go for it, but you have to believe in it first. And then, yes, you have to use specific strategies. You have to show your executive the value. You have to get them to see that experiential learning it's been happening for years. And get them away from, well, this is just about you having fun and going on a vacation. Well, so what if part of it is fun in a vacation? Aren't I worth that a little bit? But the majority, 17 hours, is going to be spent on training and education. Another was what types or size cabins, which I already told you the different cabins that we have blocked. There are other cabins, but of course you want to use our block because we were working on better prices with them. The itinerary, it is on our website, but I could let you know as far as the itinerary and our stops. So we leave Miami on March 12th. Our first stop the next day is Nassau, the Bahamas. On the second day of the trip, we're at Coco Cay, which is beautiful. I love that island. The third day, we stop at Key West, Florida. Oh my gosh, this was the first time I saw Key West. And oh, I wish I actually could have had more time there. It was so quaint and charming and beautiful. I loved it. A question asked, are you assigned to a specific group of administrative assistants or does your group change periodically? So because we're a small group, you're with the same people, but I break you up into mini groups. You partner on different activities. So throughout the event, you'll break into smaller groups and you'll get to work with different groups so you can experience different team dynamics. Can I bring my spouse? Yes, we had 3 spouses on our cruise. It was so fun at night to have them join us for dinner. Another lady brought a good friend of hers. So yes, feel free to do that. And also the other note I want to mention is if you team up with another assistant who attends the course, your cabin is going to be even less because there's 2 of you sharing that cabin. And what was another question? Do you ever do partial scholarships or whole scholarships? We do not, for this. So again, in Michelle's instance, she was able to apply for a scholarship. All right, Malia, let's turn it over. Let's see what questions you have for me, and we'll go from there.
Hi, Joan. Hi, everybody. Okay, just a few questions right now, Joan. Megan is asking, knowing that it's a small group, what are the qualifications for attendees? How do you choose who attends?
We don't filter and choose. My belief is if you want to come to this type of program, you're a higher caliber assistant. So you're going to be with those people who say, yes, I want to do this. I want to make this investment. And I know the assistants at our group, they were those types of people. So that just demonstrates to us that they take their career and profession and education seriously. So you won't be turned down.
Right. Ciola is, let's see, Ciola said if you're unable to attend, is she able to get course information?
No. This is proprietary information. This is only available to those that come on the course. And the other part, it's not about receiving the information. I know you would love to have the information. It's the experience that drives the information that creates you to change your behaviors and your thinking.
Okay. Janet wants to know, is it possible to register for a shared cabin and be assigned a roommate?
I know this came up last year, and I'm trying to remember that we didn't do that. We wanted people to team up first. So what we could do, if someone is interested, if you're interested and you're saying, well, I want to come, but I don't have anyone to team up with, we could take your information down. And then if we get a call from someone else, we could ask if they would be interested in teaming up and try to connect you two, but you two would have to come to an agreement that you want to do that.
Okay. And now, what about if they're coming from the same company and they signed up together? Couldn't they?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So what you would do, you'll see on the website, and so for the pricing, is it will show you double shared. So that is if you're going to share with another participant. So you will see the pricing if you share. It's like an ocean view. It's $500 less than if you booked single. So, and that's basically the cruise line. Those are their, we're going by what they charge and their requirements and so forth.
Okay. Jan wants to know if you're thinking of having a learning at sea on the Pacific coast.
No, not right now. And no offense to the Pacific coast, but right now it's the Caribbean. The Caribbean is absolutely gorgeous, getting far away. I'm not saying I would never do that because one never knows, but currently right now that's what we're booked for. And the other, piece I want to be sure to say is this may not be an annual event. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime experience. The only reason I'm doing it again is because it did go well. It was so impactful, so powerful that I want to give this opportunity to other assistants. But I will not guarantee or am saying that this will be an annual event or when it'll happen again. It might not happen for 5 years again. So basically take advantage, of this opportunity, because I don't know what the future will bring.
Right. And the last question I have here, Joan, is Torona would like to know, do we have a template for a letter to their manager, excuse me.
I don't believe we have one for Learning at Sea. I know for our executive for the conference. Sorry, I saw a question pop up.
Yes.
Some of the questions aren't with a question mark by them.
I see that.
For conference, we do have some information there, but what you would do or what I would recommend, are to take items from our website and what you should incorporate again into the letter, the real learning benefits, the topics you're going to learn. And I would also, if it were me, I would take each topic, I would create a chart, and I would take like navigating your day in a world that never ends. I would put some of the key learning points. And then on the other column, I would put how that will tie into my job. So your executive sees a connection between what you're going to learn and how it ties to what you're doing in your day-to-day and where you want to be in the future. So you've got to sell. The benefits are very, very important. And the other big benefit, seriously, is to sell my credibility. I am a credible source, and I could tell you that is a main reason why big corporations hire me to come in and teach their assistants. And we're talking about the Procter & Gamble's of the world and the AT&T's of the world and the nationwide insurances. It's because they know I'm a credible source. I've walked my talk. I've been in your shoes, and I've been a visionary in the training profession. So use me as your part of your ammunition.
Yes, that last question that you saw that popped in was Vonnie asking for the brochure, and Brian posted a link out there for everybody to click on. They can get their brochure there.
Yes. So, yes, get the brochure. It is up now. All the information's on the website. I know Donna's saying I hardly ever get my training paid for. I pay out of my own pocket. I could not afford this last year, but I'm planning earlier. So yes, we've had that situation happen as well, Donna, where, maybe someone, they put their 50% deposit down to at least hold a cabin. And then, monthly we're submitting payments. So, Michelle, thank you, Michelle. I am happy to correspond with anyone regarding the course. Malia, can you share my contact information? Yes, Michelle would be an excellent person, because I know she went through the steps, to get that approval. So thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Are there any more questions?
No, Joan, that would be it.
I hope I covered everything, for you. What I want to just close is, as I said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And if you look at the big picture of your life, don't look at it in a little microscope. Let's look at it in a magnifying glass. 10 years from now, what are you going to say? Are you going to say, well, yeah, I read some books, I did some online learning. Oh, that was exciting. Or 10 years from now, are you going to be reminiscing about the phenomenal experience you had in your life? Are you going to be able to talk to your children, grandchildren, and people about, yeah, I remember when I went on that Learning at Sea. Wow, what an experience. Life only happens once. And I want you to see your life in a bigger picture. That's what STAR assistants do. It's not microscopic. It's looking at the entirety of your life. And feeling your value, knowing your worth, and believing in your worth. And it is worth your company's investment. They're getting a payoff too. I mean, your executive's going to be even better because as you become better, they become better at what they do. So register, don't hold off, don't let fear sink your career. Take the leap, take that leap of faith. And not even a leap of faith, I promise you, it will be an amazing experience and you will learn and you will grow. So I hope to see you on that ship in Miami, Florida next March. Thank you very much for attending. And if you have any other questions, please call us, call the office, 800-139. We'd be happy to speak with you. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. We need a little Caribbean music.